Arr, ye scurvy dogs. I be Gilligan Kruger 0829 and I've gone full pirate for this review. I got me hat, me brace, me cutlass, and plenty of pirate booty to go around. Ha 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 ha. I'm ready to raid and plunder on the high seas. And with me mateys down in the Caribbean's 4th film coming out this week, I figured it's time to look over all 3 of them. So sit back and relax, or ye walk the plank. Yar! Okay, so that was probably the worst pirate impression you've ever heard, but I found all this stuff at Target for $15 and wanted to put it in. But, that being aside, I'm going to start this review off by saying just 4 words, and those are Pirates of the Caribbean. Now, whether you look at the theme park attractions or the film franchise, Pirates of the Caribbean is without doubt one of Disney's biggest successes. The rides, which came out about the same time Disneyland and Disney World opened, and have become amazingly popular. Even though they're not as high-flying or thrilling as, say, Space or Big Thunder Mountain, they're definitely some of the most memorable. Hell, I heard even Michael Jackson wanted his own version installed in his mansion. It wasn't until the 21st century, however, that producer Jerry Bruckheimer and director Gore Verbinski got together and made the first movie, The Curse of the Black Pearl. This had a bit of a different approach to it. Instead of going at your standard adventure movie, this put in a fantasy epic to it, and it was kind of interesting. The result was a high-rising and very high-grossing movie that, to this day, is one of Disney's treasured films. Heck, Jack Sparrow might be just as well known as Mickey Mouse now. That's a stretch. The movies, as I've already pointed out, have made millions of dollars at the box office in the last few years, dating back to 2003 when the first one came out. Hey, you know what? Dead Man's Chest is now one of the highest grossing movies of all time. But how do they really stack up, the movies all in all? Which one's the best, which one's the worst, and why do I think so? Well, in my second series review of this year, I'm going to look over all 3 Pirates of the Caribbean movies, and this weekend, hopefully, get you Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides. Without any further ado, let's look at the first movie, The Curse of the Black Pearl. So, this movie starts out on a foggy night where we see a ship coming out from the loom and doom. And call me crazy, but I swear this looks almost exactly like the opening to Little Mermaid. Anyone else think that? Come on, I can't be the only one, but I don't know, maybe it's just Disney's allusion to their older seafaring tales, which it's not a bad thing. In fact, I just saw The Little Mermaid again a few weeks ago, but sticking to the movie. So on this boat we have Elizabeth Swann, a young girl who's chanting pirate melodies and talking about being one herself. But she's discouraged and, quite frankly, frightened by Gibbs, a crewman played by Kevin McNally. But he's driven away by James Norrington, the ship's captain, played by Jack Davenport. Also on board is Elizabeth's father and the Governor of England, played by Jonathan Pryce. They're all minor characters, but you'll see more of them later in the movie. So anywho, they're on a routine trip out into the water where they see a young boy stranded on a piece of driftwood named William Turner. He's quickly pulled aboard and Elizabeth starts talking to him. While this, she finds a medallion that has a pirate-like skull on it, and she takes that from him, assuming he's a pirate. Then we fast forward 8 years to where Elizabeth has grown up into, hello, Keira Knightley. I wasn't expecting her in this movie. Well, Well, I knew her name, I just didn't know what it was. But anyway, sticking with the movie. She's about to go to Norrington's promotion. He's moving up from Captain to Commodore. Though I can swear the character has the Hogwarts disease, in which, even after 8 years have passed, he barely looks like he's aged a week. I'll talk about that more in my Harry Potter series review. But before they go, they have a visitor. William Turner has grown up into a blacksmith, played now by Orlando Bloom. He has made a sword for the commencement and gets a chance to talk to Elizabeth. He's head over heels for her. And quite frankly, who wouldn't? She's Keira Knightley. Wait, what's that? What's that, Mr. Turner? You want to be with her? You think you're better than Norrington? Why do you think that? Oh, you're a blacksmith. Well, I have one thing to say to your reason, sir. It's not good enough! Anyway, so, without too much of a romantic build-up, Elizabeth is sent to the promotion of Norrington, as I've said before. And at the same time, in comes our main character, a solo pirate, played by, in his most famous role, Johnny Depp. He's Jack Sparrow, who's, if a rebel without a cause existed before the Revolutionary War, this guy would be it. Now, I know a lot of you who are watching this love Johnny Depp. In fact, because of these movies, he's one of my favorite actors now. So, to all the Depp admirers, I've made you a small little video. I hope you enjoyed. It has clips and images from Depp's career. This is Johnny Depp.
Where did you get that?
On your feet.
So, sorry you had to see that, guys, and my last picture probably wasn't one of my better ideas. But, moving right along. So, after an interesting day in Port Royal, including saving Elizabeth from drowning and a sword fight from Will, Jack is arrested on charges of piracy. Everything goes back to normal until that night, when the town is attacked by the Black Pearl, a pirate ship that Jack mentioned earlier, and from the way he acts about it, we are meant to believe that he has something to do with this ship. The ship is led by Barbossa, a pirate captain played by Jeffrey Rush, who sends his pirates on the town to do what pirates do. You know, pillage, plunder, slit throats, the whole 9 yards. A select group of pirates, however, infiltrates the governor's house and kidnaps Elizabeth. So they take her back to the ship, and Elizabeth talks Barbossa into leaving the town alone if she goes with them. However, Will saw her right the night before and decides to free Jack from his prison and to take him to go looking for her, since he knows that Jack is aware of the Black Pearl and he might be the only way to get them. And the rest of the movie is kind of like a pirate rescue adventure, and it elaborates on the characters as we go along. Now, there's a lot of things to like about this movie, just as a lot of you people have liked it. The story is entertaining, the pacing is reasonable, the characters are good, for the most part, and I really want to talk about the special effects. I thought they were really good for their time, and you'd never expect effects like that to be in a live-action Disney movie after some of the other stuff they've seen, but what they do with the zombie pirates is really amazing. Like, there's one scene where they're underwater, and when they walk from shadow to moonlight, it's almost intimidating how good it's done. In fact, speaking on that, this is probably one of the most intense Disney movies you'll ever see. Because it's, as far as I'm concerned, the first Disney movie to get a PG-13 rating. I might be wrong, but I haven't heard of any others, and in 2002 and 2003, I thought that would have nearly been impossible. About the characters, they're all pretty good. Barbossa is interesting. Kira is rebellious and hot. And even Orlando Bloom isn't terrible. Though, I do think he overacts occasionally. That's one of the flaws with this movie. The one scene in particular that I mocked earlier is when he slams his sword onto the desk and says, "That's not good enough!" But I digress. It's not too heavy. It's heavy enough to where it's noticeable, but not so much. Obviously, though, the best thing about this movie, and all the movies ahead of it, is Johnny Depp. Not that that's really a surprise, because he's usually the best thing in all of his movies, but this one really stands out. He makes Jack Sparrow a charming, awkward, and occasionally very humorous pirate, actually. You'd never think of those words in front of a raider of the high sea, but they do well, and a lot of this is done well. I want to thank the director Gore Verbinski and the performances by Depp and such. The one fault, other than Bloom's overacting, that I fall back on is the runtime, which is almost 2.5 hours. Now granted, I like the way they pulled out the story, and I praise the pacing of this movie. But there are some scenes that I feel are dragged out just a little bit too much. In some cases, they even feel like we're building up to something that we know isn't going to happen. And I didn't really understand why. But those are the only things I don't like about that movie. I'm not trying to say as many good things as I can, because I really, really enjoyed it. I'll admit that if I was the age I am now when this movie first came out and I saw the trailer, I probably would have rolled my eyes and said, "Are you serious? Is that all they've got? I mean, a movie based on a Disneyland attraction? What's next? Are they going to do a Tower of Terror and Haunted Mansion movie? Oh, and get comedians to do the main roles?" Oh. Oh. Yeah. Screw those movies. Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl is a fun and exciting and many times humorous ride. It brings the sense of an old action movie. And it does it very well. Again, I have to thank the directors and writers of this movie. But still, it's those two things I mentioned I'm falling back on, and as such, I'm going to give Pirates of the Caribbean 4 stars out of 5, as opposed to where I would have given it 4.5. But it's nothing much. It's still interesting, it will get you drawn in, and it will have you starving for more. You can find all my YouTube reviews on my channel. If you have a movie you'd like me to review, comment on this video or in my channel. And until next time, peace. Yarr!